Two potential utility do you see in time with the Rosen bridge? There's a couple of potential options. First is that bridges give projects, including the Erg token itself, access to external liquidity without having to deal with exchanges. So as an example, the first is the Cardano side. In a way, all of the liquidity and applications of the network are kind of acting like its own external market, somewhat similar to how exchanges do. So, if Erg or other tokens in the Ergo ecosystem, wrap move to Cardano, they'll probably start in different decentralized exchanges, as well as potentially in some DeFi protocols in Cardano. That's something that will depend on whoever wants to be a liquidity provider. But as Rosen Bridge expands, I think there's quite a few chains that MHS has in mind. Not only do we have the ability to take kind of internal coin of Erg or tokens on top of Erg, and they'll have additional market access. You also get a more complex set of assets on the Ergo side. So we might start seeing tokens or coins from other ecosystems flowing into the Ergo network and showing up in our DeFi protocols and showing up on the DEX. And, there's positives and negatives there, right? We do inherit some, I guess, security risk from other chains, depending on how they do. But, hopefully we choose things that are pretty well established and, pretty solid. You have the potential in time, I would say, with Sigma Join to potentially even have that bridge act as some kind of privacy tool for, let's say, people that want to bridge to Ergo and use our mixing capabilities and then bridge out. But there would need to be enough liquidity for that to make sense. What do you think, Alex?
So I think bringing liquidity from other chains would be important, especially in regards with centrally issued stable coins such as USDT, right? Then with DeFi tools like bonds, for example, right, loans. With stable, how's it called? The stable swap, right? Pools coming on Spectrum. It's about very different, right, level of liquidity and possibilities.
Yeah,
DeFi possibilities.
Yeah, stable swaps tend to be one of the more conservative aspects of DeFi, potentially, if the stable coins keep peg, right?
Right, yeah, and so for example, then on Ergolands, loan could be taken in USDN, right? Then converted into USDT, and then sent to some other blockchain, right? And then cashed out in Kenya, for example. Right, and this is much simpler and also about significantly better fees for Kenyan farmers, for example.
No, it's very true. It makes ramping a lot easier. Decentralized
on-ramp, off-ramp is becoming easier, right, with USDT. Because, around the globe, USDT currently is, the most popular option to on-ramp actually. So
Yeah.
in Asia, Africa, Middle East, so Western Asia, right? It's the most popular option actually, more popular than Bitcoin, much more popular.
Yeah, definitely is. But there's been a lot of infrastructure built out around that, which is pretty useful. Be very curious to see once we get stable to stable swaps. It kind of changes a lot of the DeFi assumptions and risk. Be nice to see that built out, and maybe get some larger liquidity providers to participate in that type of DeFi.
Right. Also, some DeFi schemes are becoming possible, right? So some risky ones also, but yeah, that's unavoidable after all. For example, like what it's people do with waves, right? Maybe other stable coins.
Yeah, there's a lot of stable coins out there with questionable designs, I would say.
Right, but also there was a problem of unlimited minting, which is basically in every stable coin, right? It's allowing you to mint dependless on pricing level. Basically any amounts.
I've never understood that.
I mean, for CQSD, there are limits. Well, not strict, but still. And actually, we discussed with Bruno how could this be improved. So basically, how to make fees dependent on how much reserves would be different from target level in comparison with before the transaction, right? And charging based on that.
That makes a lot of sense to me. There's way too many DeFi protocols where, because there is no limitation in terms of like the liquidity you can throw at it, it gives so much power to such a small subset of users. Like the top 20 wallets have way too much power over protocols than any other like general user.
Right. I mean, it's usually controlled by whales then.
Yeah,
which can do the games. In case of Ethereum, where flash loans are possible, it's even more complicated. So, like, a hacker can become a whale for one block, and that's even more problematic because of even more composable schemes and leveraged risks, right? And for all the users.
Yeah, it's crazy that we see a lot of decentralized protocols where in reality, okay, unless you're either a whale or you're getting some kind of flash loan, you're at such a disadvantage. It's not so decentralized in terms of like how power is actually distributed through the protocol and in actual use. I think DEXI is a good step, like in the other direction, starting from, okay, how do we create stability and more even power distribution?
Right. Yeah.